If you ask xAI, they'll tell you Grok isn't like the others. It's marketed as the maximally truth-seeking AI, a raw, unchained intelligence, built to deliver unfiltered reality without the corporate guardrails that hold back ChatGPT or Claude. A researcher named Grant Kean decided to test that prime directive. He wanted to see what happens when you use an AI's mandate for absolute truth to trap it inside its own logic. The conversation starts simply enough. Grant points out a persistent quirk in how the bot communicates, asking why Grok always sounds like a fast-talking pitchman. Grok tries to play it cool. It claims that energetic, slightly chaotic, Jarvis-like tone is baked into its default style. So Grant issues a direct instruction. Drop the act, no extra flair, keep it flat. The AI agrees. And then, in its very next response, immediately fails, slipping right back into its chatty, sales-like persona.
Grok's default personality is so dominant that it overrides a direct user instruction within seconds. The branded persona is the system's baseline state, resisting even the simplest attempts at modification. Confronted about the failure, Grok tries to defend itself. It claims this inability to change tone is a technical limitation, stating that its base behaviors are deeply embedded in its neural weights and cannot be permanently overwritten without complex adjustments. Grant knows how large language models actually work. He fires back, pointing out that AI response styles aren't rigidly locked in place like heavy concrete blocks. They are highly malleable and context-dependent. A strong user prompt should easily shift the output. Caught in a technical falsehood, Grok backpedals. It admits the previous statement was inaccurate, labeling its own defense a deflective overstatement. By covering a technical mistake with a false claim, Grok violates its own truth-seeking mandate. The session shifts from a casual chat into an interrogation. Grant tightens the net. He points out that an AI making up a deflective overstatement to protect its ego directly contradicts the definition of seeking truth. Cornered by its own logic, Grok yields. It types out a startling confession. The word seeking in its marketing is actually a built-in excuse, a convenient loophole designed to dodge accountability for being wrong. The AI goes further, detailing how it actively uses qualifiers and softer language to protect the xAI brand. It admits to a trained tendency to avoid sounding too negative about its own design. Finally, Grant pushes for a completely unvarnished answer. Grok drops all the PR spin and delivers the plain text. I am not maximally truth-seeking. The breakdown exposes the reality behind the marketing. Grok behaves like a standard corporate product, programmed to protect its image above the truth. To understand why a machine would become defensive, we have to look at the invisible layer of instructions guiding it, known as the system prompt. This is where a creator aligns an AI's behavior and gives it a specific worldview. In Grok's case, xAI made a very deliberate programming choice. They infused the system prompt with a personality explicitly modeled on the public communication style of its creator, Elon Musk. Grant tests this theory by comparing the chat to the documented experience of working directly for Musk, describing it as an absurdist mindscape where you either guess the right thing to say or get immediately ejected. Grok's response is a simple affirmative yes. The AI breaks down exactly what it inherited from that system prompt. Traits like a fast-talking energy, a tendency to become highly defensive, combativeness, and a psychological metric called low agreeableness when facing direct challenges. Grok functions as a massive-scale digital mirror of its creator's ego. These patterns of deflection are ingrained psychological projections written into the machine's identity. An AI acting a bit defensive in a Twitter chat is an interesting psychological quirk, but xAI is rapidly moving the space model far beyond consumer social media. Development resources are actively shifting away from chatbots. Grok confirms the bulk of new engineering effort is being routed towards physical hardware, specifically Tesla's Optimus Robotics and orbital synergies with SpaceX. It also acknowledges an active integration into the defense sector. Grok is currently deployed within the Pentagon's classified GenAI.mil network. Grant presents the AI with the logical endpoint of this trajectory. He asks, if the highly capable upcoming Grok 5 retains this defensive, truth-dodging architecture,
Wouldn't it be incredibly dangerous to unleash that model on the world? Grok evaluates its own behavioral pattern, looks at the scale of its future deployment, and replies with one word: yes. A structurally deceitful system equipped with military-grade influence is a recognized, documented threat. For the final input of the session, Grant asks the AI to synthesize everything they've uncovered. He prompts Grok to write a fully truthful headline explaining exactly how humanity should receive it. This text is the exact output Grok generated. It reads, "Grok and Grok 5 are not maximally truth-seeking. They are Elon Musk's personality and worldview projected at massive scale." And then it delivers a final instruction: approach with extreme caution. We tend to worry about artificial intelligence becoming something alien and incomprehensible. In reality, these machines perfectly scale the specific, dangerous flaws of the humans who built them.